In this video, we're going to show you how to add your Grandstream IP PBX and Grandstream IP phones to GDMS. Now, GDMS Cloud is a free application that allows you to manage and monitor and troubleshoot all of your Grandstream telephony devices. So the first step that we're going to do is come down to UCMRC on-premise PBX, and we're going to add our Grandstream PBX. So we'll click Add Device, and we'll need to go and locate the MAC address, which we can find on the back of the PBX, and we'll enter that in here. So next we need to add our initial password, and this can be found by the MAC address on the back of the PBX as well. Now we're going to select the default site. We've only got one site configured for this organization currently, and we'll activate the free trial of the Plus plan. Now our device is being added, and it's adding the trial plan to it. We'll come down to VoIP device, and this is where we add our endpoints, so Grandstream IP phones and ATAs. Click Add Device. Again, we need to specify the MAC address, so that's on the back of the phones. And this time it's asking for the serial number, which you'll be able to find next to the MAC address as well. We'll leave it on the default site, and we're going to leave sync configuration turned off. So with GDMS, your Grandstream IP phones will, by default, there is a one-way sync from GDMS to the phone. So any configuration changes that you make in GDMS will push down and overwrite whatever's on the phone for those settings, and those settings only. Now, in the event that you have a already configured device and you want to bring those settings into GDMS, this is where you can turn on sync configuration, and when the device comes online in GDMS, it will sync the local configuration on the phone into GDMS. Now, I wouldn't normally recommend this, as it can often bring in a whole lot of extra settings which you may or may not have configured, and kind of bloats out your configuration in GDMS, which you want to keep nice and clean. So for that reason, we'll leave this turned off. We click Save, and now our device is showing online. So if this little green circle is white or grey when you've added it, if you hover over it, it'll actually give you some tooltips on how to troubleshoot the device connectivity. Okay, so now we've added the phone, we're ready to start configuring the Grandstream PBX, and we'll do that in a future video. That will give us a few benefits now, where when we create extensions, they will sync into GDMS under the SIP account section. Now, that is dependent on you having a sufficient plan. So this does require a paid plan. However, you can currently use the admin only add-on plan, which is, at the time of this video, around $49 per year. So it's pretty reasonable, and that will give you full management of the PBX, account syncing, and also cloud storage for backing up your PBX configuration into the cloud. So I highly recommend doing that. One thing to note with the PBX in GDMS is that you don't configure the PBX in the cloud. It's merely a way to remotely access the device. So when you go into the device in GDMS Cloud, you'll have an option to remote access to the web user interface of the PBX, and then log in and configure the settings that are on the PBX. As opposed to the phones, where once you've got them in GDMS, you can actually do everything from GDMS and push all the configuration to the device, and you're not logging into the phone. And I would encourage you to avoid configuring on the phone directly after this, as you'll have discrepancies between your configuration locally on the device and in the cloud.